Am I audible? Yeah, thank you. Okay, other students are joining, or this is the strength that we have today? Only 7 of them. Can you all come in the video mode, everyone, for 2 minutes? Hampan, you are in some office?
It's a CA books, sir.
Oh, good. Your books are taller than you. Okay, so we'll just get started with the unit 4. As per the discussion in the previous class, you had said that 3 units are completed by MB Patil sir, and we'll be continuing with unit number 4. Okay, so before that, we'll be definitely having a brief brush up of whatever has been covered so far. Not everything, but the main thing that has been covered. Uh, Okay, so I'll be asking you a lot of questions just to just to understand how much you know about service marketing. Okay, I know it's very general in nature. Service marketing is very general subject where you just need to apply your mind. Okay, there's nothing very technical about service marketing there. Okay, so the first question to you is, do you remember the gap model? Yes. Do you remember the service gap model? Akila?
Yes, sir. So
Yes.
it's the gap between customers, service providers, and so forgot the third one.
There are okay, just tell me how many gaps are there. You don't tell, Akila, wait.
3.
Dhanashri, tell me how many gaps are there.
So 4.
4? Sure?
Yes, sir.
Or 5 gaps?
4, sir.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what are those 4 gaps? Can you name at least 2?
So first is expected service.
Okay.
Gap 1 is expected service to company perceptions
Versus
of
service to
consumer.
expected service, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
And gap 2 is service delivery to customers, service driven.
okay, great. So that means it has been covered nicely.
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay, so no issues. Okay, can we are we going to have many, more students, or this would be the strength? Only 6? Any festival today?
No, sir.
Jasvina, you're there?
There are lots of marriages today, sir.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. I hope you're not getting married, Sampan. So everybody is giving services to the society. What should we do? Should we start? Or should we wait for another 2-3 minutes? Meghna, you're there?
Yes, sir.
Meghna, your voice is very low.
Now?
Yes. So should we start? Jasvina, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay, great. How are you?
So I'm fine.
Yeah, long time no interaction, so thought of asking.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it's 9:19. Okay, according to this watch, it is 9:19. Okay, so maybe we'll wait for another 1 or 2 minutes and then we'll get started. Anyways, I don't know how many students would be joining. Okay, let me just get started. Just confirm if the screen is visible to you all. Okay, we'll not wait for others because they are joining slowly, I guess. Okay, so yes. Okay, just confirm if you can see the screen. Is the screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Okay, so basically we are going to start with unit 4, that is employee and customer role in service delivery. So what is the role of an employee, okay, who is providing that service, and what is the role of customer also, okay, because when you talk about services, customer also plays an important role because he's going to receive that service. Okay, let me take a simple example, guys. Now I'm a service provider, I'm teaching you, that means I'm providing service. Okay, we are into educational educational institutions, so we are providing services to you, right? You are our customers. Now both of us have to play a role. Okay, we have to play a role of providing services to you, whereas you have to play a role of receiving service. Now if you see today, okay, I'm ready with the class, but we have only 6, 7, 8 people joining the class. That means the customer is not uh, following his role, or he's not adhering to the roles that is given to him, that is attending the classes regularly, right? So in any service industry, the role of employee as well as customer is very important. So in this module we are going to try to understand what is the role of employee, what is the role of customer, and what is the gap between these two roles, and how do we bridge those gaps, or what are the strategies to reduce or minimize the gap. That is what we're going to study in this particular unit, that is employee and customer role in service delivery. Okay, now before starting, okay, I would ask you one more question. Can you tell me the features of service? What are the features of service? What are the characteristics of service? Dhanashri, what are the characteristics of service?
Sir, services are intangible.
Intangible, very nice. Jasvina?
So services are just temporary. They are not a permanent thing.
Okay, they
And
are
whatever
temporary,
services have been used, they have to be given back.
right?
Like we can't take the equipments
You
along
cannot
with us.
store it, you cannot make an inventory out of it, right? You have to consume.
Services are also taxable.
Yeah, no. Okay, the production and consumption is immediate in case of service, right? Okay, Pradeep?
Huh?
Sir, inseparable.
Inseparable, very good. Okay, inseparable. Okay, and that is the most important thing. It cannot be separated from the provider, and that is where this particular unit comes into picture. It cannot be separated from the provider of the service. So whatever is the provider, how he behaves, how he provides service, on the basis of that your quality of service will depend. Okay, so that is why I asked you those questions. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. I hope you have seen this somewhere. Yes, do you know what this is? Guys, what is this? Ayman?
Gap model.
It's a gap model. Ayman, can you explain me this gap model? Ayman, you're there? Okay, fair enough. Doesn't matter. Okay, so basically, when this is a gap model that we are going to study, so your entire service marketing syllabus is based on these gap models itself, right? So we start with the first gap. So there are two things. First is the customer and the provider, the parties to the service. One is the provider, another is the receiver, that is a customer. Okay, so the first gap is between what is expected by the customer and what are the expectations or the perception of the management towards the expectation. Like, I perceive something about your expectations. You as students, I perceive that you may expect, okay, that the classes should be more interactive. That is my expectation. Okay, as a management, that is my expectation. But you might be expecting something else. You might be expecting the classes should be only for 40 minutes, and it should be from only 9 to 1 maybe. Okay, that is your expectation. So my perception towards expectation is different, and your expectations are completely different. They are not matching. There is a gap now. Okay, that is the first gap. That is the gap between the management perception towards the expectation and the actual expected service or the expectation of the customer. Second gap talks about the management perception towards customers expectation and translation of perception into service quality specification. Let me say that yes, whatever is my perception towards expectation is right, but am I converting that into delivery? Am I delivering the right thing? Okay, yes, I have my perception towards your classes is yes, you want classes to be 40 minutes, and you want it only in the first half of the day. Afternoon you don't want classes. So I have perceived it rightly. That is your expectation. Yes, so gap 1 is solved. Gap 1 is not there at all. But am I delivering it? Okay, so that is what, or is the quality of the service according to the perception? That is your second gap. That is management perception of consumer expectation and translation of these perception into service quality specification. So whether my services are really whether those perceptions really getting transmitted into those services. Okay, third one is the translation. Okay, maybe the perceptions are properly translated into services also. Okay, we have planned everything correctly, but am I delivering it properly now? So whatever is the uh, perceived service and whatever is the delivered service, is there any gap between that? That is gap 3. Okay, that is translation of perception into service quality specification. So my specifications about the quality of the service that I'm going to provide and the services that I'm actually providing, is there a match? Is there a gap? That is your gap 3. Then service delivery and external communication to the customers. Okay, what is the service that I'm delivering and what is the communication that the customers are receiving? So is there a gap between that? That means I'm providing something else, but the communication going to the people is something else. Okay, that creates gap 4. Okay, maybe I have perceived rightly, my perception is getting converted into quality services. That quality services I'm delivering also, but whatever information is going to the customer is completely different. So that there comes your gap 4. Okay, and communication, because of the communication, again this is gap 5. I don't know whether you have studied gap 5, but because there are gap 7, there are 7 gaps in fact. Okay, there are not only 5 gaps, there are 7 gaps. Okay, so because of the communications that you receive about a particular service, you make a perception about it. Okay, about that service. Okay, you feel okay, let's say Marriott Hotel. Okay, Marriott Hotel gives the best of the services, and they advertise it like that, swimming pools and 24-hour service, etc., etc., whatever they just advertise. Okay, that is the communication that they are giving you. Okay, you as a customer, your expectations are very high about Marriott, and you go there and you don't get anything. You don't get what you had expected. You're getting something else. There comes a gap there. Okay, so that is your gap 5. So these are the various gaps that are there in service. Okay, because services are intangible, they are inseparable, and because of all those characteristics that are attached to a service, there becomes a problem with whatever is perceived, whatever is given. Okay, then whatever is given, whatever is expected, etc., etc. Okay, so that is how gaps come into existence. Okay, so in the first 3 modules, okay, you have studied the gap 1 and gap 2, that is the perception of the management towards expected services and management perception and quality service dimensions, okay, or quality specifications, service quality specifications. So that gap is cleared. Now we are going to study the translation of perception into delivery. So whatever has been perceived by the management, whatever quality of service that the management wants to give, and whatever it is delivering, whatever service it is actually giving, that is what we are going to study in this particular unit. Okay, that is gap model of that is your employee and customer in service quality. So are you clear with this? Are you clear with whatever I explained so far?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you're understanding. If I'm going very fast, please stop me. Okay, because okay, sometimes I'm used to going fast in finance and all those other subjects. Okay, so if I'm going fast here also, let me know. Okay, or you can ask doubts. So are you clear with all these 5 gaps first of all? Okay, and it's really easy to remember also, guys. It's sequential. Okay, there is a proper sequence to it, so very easy to remember also. Okay, next one is your gap 3. Now what is gap 3? It is a gap between service quality specification, whatever you have specified, and service delivery, whatever you are actually delivering. So I have specified, okay, these services is what I'm going to provide. Okay, that is my specification. Have uh, I have uh, perceived your expectation. I have decided these are the services that I'm going to provide. And then once you come there, what services I'm providing. The gap between these two things is your gap 3. Okay, that is the gap between service quality specification and service delivery, which may arise pertaining to service personnel. And most of maximum of the times, this particular gap comes because of the personnel or the person who is providing that service. Okay, so that is how this particular gap works out. Okay, so often arises as a result of lack of communication between the management and frontline staff. Okay, for example, management has decided these are the services that they're going to provide, and accordingly they have advertised it or they have communicated the same thing to the customers. Okay, so there is a proper specification, but those specifications are not known to the frontline staff who are going to face the customers. They do not know of, they are not aware about it. So what happens is there will be a gap because the specifications are different. The frontline staff is providing some other services, or quality of service provided by the frontline staff may be better or worse. I'm not saying that it is always worse, maybe better or worse, but it is not according to the specifications of the management. Okay, that creates a gap. So often arises as a result of lack of communication between management and frontline staff. Okay, next one is it can also occur due to lack of motivation amongst the frontline staff to deliver the service up to the standards. Yes, this is the most important factor why this gap comes. Okay, yes, the management has specified this is the quality of the services that I'm going to provide, but management does not provide that service. Who is going to provide the service? It is the frontline staff who is going to provide. Okay, in our case it is we who are going to provide services. Okay, so management has decided the best of the faculties, the best of the interaction, the best of the examples, best of the practical knowledge would be given to the students. Fine, but are the faculties really doing it? Are the faculty giving it? Okay, that is a question mark now. Now, why are they not doing it? Most of the times, faculties are not motivated at all. The providers, the frontline staff are not motivated to do it. Okay, maybe they are not getting proper perks, they are not getting proper salary. Okay, they are not getting proper work environment, etc., etc. There might be hundreds of reasons for this. Okay, and because of that, they are not motivated to provide the services that is intended to be provided by the management. Okay, so that is what is lack of motivation amongst frontline staff to deliver the service up to the standard is. Okay, and let's take another example. Okay, let's say I ask you to set up a service desk over here to provide counseling services to students. Okay, counseling services in the sense what you should do after your BCom and all those services. Okay, like what are the various courses available after 12th standard, what are the various courses available. I set up a desk over here, service desk over here, and I compulsory make two students to sit. Okay, now one of the student is highly motivated, he wants to do it. Okay, fine, but the other one is not at all motivated, he's been forced, he or she has been forced to sit over there, not interested but forced to sit. Okay, and I'm not going to give you any perks, perquisites, etc. Okay, you're just going to do it as a social service over there, right? Not motivated, will you deliver? No, you will not deliver because you are not motivated to do it, and that creates gap 3. Okay, that is gap between service quality specification and service delivery. Okay, so often customers form a perception based on their interaction with the frontline staff, and if the frontline staff perform poorly, it can affect the customer's perception. Definitely yes. Okay, so when I go to a Marriott hotel, I have a perception towards the receptionist, okay, towards the person who opens the door for me. Okay, I enter the hotel, there is a receptionist, the way they treat me, the way they greet me, I have a particular perception towards it. And if those frontline staff members like the doorkeeper or the receptionist, they do not, or they perform poorly, then my perception changes. My perception towards Marriott was wonderful. Okay, I thought it's the best of the hotels, but when I experienced it, it was not. My perception changes. Okay, so that is where this particular gap arises. So are you clear with what is this gap 3 first of all? Everybody is clear with gap 3? Yes, no. If it is yes, please give a thumbs up. If it is no, then ask your doubts. Okay, fine. Now let's understand the reasons. Fine, we have understood. Okay, gap 3 is what is specified, the quality specified and the quality provided. That is gap 3. Why it happens? First is ineffective recruitment. Okay, there should be the frontline staff should be recruited. uh, the recruitment of the frontline staff is really very important, guys. Okay, imagine you come to a college and you see a person sitting, a man basically sitting on the front desk with shabby clothes and not speaking well or eating a pan. What would be your perception towards that particular college? Definitely it would be bad. Okay, because there's no right person on that chair who is going to face the customer. So, okay, so there should be very effective effective recruitment. There should be a proper person. Normally when we imagine a service desk or a frontline desk, we imagine a nice lady sitting over there with nice wearing nice clothes and speaking good English, properly dressed. Okay, uh, this is what our imagination is, this is what our perception is, that is how it should be. And when I see that, yes, I'm impressed, right? So first thing that goes wrong is ineffective recruitment. Proper people are not recruited. Now if you take examples of faculty members, okay, uh, they are the people who are going to face the customers, they are the people who are going to deliver the content to the customers. And if the faculties are not good, they cannot speak well, they cannot take questions, or they don't come in time, or whatever it is, there might be n number of reasons, then it becomes ineffective. So whenever we are recruiting, we have to consider all these things, okay, because they are the frontline people who are going to face the customers. Nobody knows who is the management. Now if I ask you this question, can you name the members of the management of KLE society? Doesn't matter, right? Because you are not going to face them, they are not going to face you, neither they are any effect would happen to you if the management changes. Nothing. But you are definitely worried about who is going to teach you, who is going to teach you what. Okay, that is what if ineffective recruitment is. So your recruitment should be very effective. So first reason for gap 3 is ineffective recruitment. Second is ambiguity and conflict. lot of ambiguity is confusion, lot of confusion as to what are the services that is really to be provided. There's a lot of confusion. Management wants something else, the customers want something else, and we are stuck in between. Do we listen to the management? Do we listen to the customers? No, there is a confusion. So because of that, again, gap 3 arises, because there is lots of ambiguity. There is no clearly defined quality of service. There is no clearly defined specification as to this is what is to be provided, this is how it is to be provided. It is not specified at all. So ambiguity, and because of the ambiguity, there is a conflict. There's a conflict between the management and the uh, service provider, the actual frontline people. Okay, and that conflict leads to gap 3. That is the second reason. Third reason is failure to match supply and demand. Okay, supply and demand basically is sometimes, okay, let's say for counseling, okay, admission counseling. Okay, sometimes there are many students who come from different colleges and come for inquiry about admissions. Okay, now, looking at that, we set, let's say we appoint 3 people for admissions. Okay, so 3 people are sitting over there. Okay, and people come and they interact. Fine, supply is there, demand is also there. Fine, but after some time, what happens is students stop coming. 3 people are sitting over there. Students are not coming at all. Supply is more, demand is less. Okay, you have 3 people sitting for counseling, but there are hardly 5-6 people who are coming in the entire day for counseling. So that creates a gap. Okay, failure to match supply and demand. Now, what are those 3 people going to sit and do? Okay, there would be a problem. Third is, looking at this, we decide that no, we'll have only one person, and suddenly 10 15 people start coming for inquiries. One person is unable to handle, so he keeps on he starts finishing the counseling quickly. Okay, just tell some points and just finish it off. Ineffective communication, again, ineffective service. Okay, because I just want to cater to 15 students or 15 people who have come for counseling. I deliver the service quickly. Okay, I'm not bothered about the quality now. I'm just counseling them and sending them off as fast as possible, because there are 16 people in line who are waiting for to come and sit and get counseled. Okay, so that is what failure to match supply and demand is. Okay, so because of this supply and demand, service quality is hampered. Okay, and there creates a gap 3. Next one is customers not fulfilling their roles. Yes, it is also the roles of the customer which is important over here. Okay, now, for example, students, you are my customers. Okay, what are your roles? Your role is attend classes regularly, write your assignments regularly, attend tests. Okay, be interactive in the class. Now, if you are not performing your role, will I be able to provide services in the right way? No, I will not. Okay, I'll come to the class 9 o'clock. I'm there in front of the screen, or in the class when physical classes are there, I'm in the class, but there are no students at all. So how will I provide service? Again, gap 3 is created. Okay, so customer's role is also very important in case of uh, providing services. Okay, so gap 3 also arises because of the customer's negligence, because the customer do not play their role properly, etc. Okay, let's take another example. For example, let's say you're traveling in a train. So Indian Railways is your service provider. The porters and the TCs um, who are there in the railway, they are they are your frontline staff, and you are the customer. Now, you don't behave properly in the train. Okay, you don't when you go to washrooms, you don't flush it, or you pull the chain suddenly. You try to throw the uh, food items and whatever you're eating anywhere you want, and you don't maintain that cleanliness. Now, you are not performing your role here as a customer. You are not performing your role. So whatever expectation about my services are, I'll not be able to provide that service. Okay, I cannot allow one sweeper to one compartment. Okay, there would be hardly 5 sweepers for the entire railway, so they cannot keep on sweeping your compartment now and then. So what is your role? Your role is to keep it clean. So if you are performing your role, then I'll be able to provide services in the right way. So that is what customer not fulfilling their roles is. And last one is lack of training. Yes, most of the service gaps happen because of lack of training to the frontline employees. They are not trained to handle the customers. Okay, and since they are not trained to handle the customers properly, there creates a gap. The customer is expecting something else, you are providing something else. Okay, and there is a gap that has been created. Okay, so because of lack of training to the frontline staff, so gap 3 comes into picture. Okay, so are you clear with this part now, guys? Are you clear with the reasons of gap 3? Yes or no? Okay. Let's go to the next one. Okay, we are left with 3 minutes, so I'll try to complete as much as possible. Okay, now we know what are the reasons for the gap. Okay, ineffective recruitment or ambiguity or failure to match supply and demand, then customers not fulfilling their roles and lack of training. Then what are the strategies for closing these gaps? Okay, there should be some strategies. We cannot just say that there is a gap. We have to find out strategies to reduce the gap, to bridge the gap. Okay, what are the strategies now? Managing service employees. Okay, first thing is you have to manage your employees, service employees who are in the front line. You have to manage them properly. Manage them means what? Make employee understand their role. They should know their role properly. What are they expected to deliver? They should know that properly, so their role should be properly defined. Okay, it's not like you are appointed for something else and you're doing something else. Okay, that creates conflict again, that creates ambiguity. Okay, so your role should be defined. Okay, this is what you're hired for, this is what you're supposed to do. Second is manage conflicts between customers and management. Yes, there might be sometimes conflicts between the customers and the management, so it is the staff who is going to intervene and try to solve that particular conflict. Okay, so that is how you bridge the gap there. Okay, maybe the management policy is this, and the customer is fighting for that. In a hotel, let's say the management has said that they will get free dinner and breakfast. Okay, but only dinner is provided, breakfast is not provided at all. Then that creates a conflict between the customer and the management, not the staff. It is between the management and the customer, because management has decided not to provide it. Okay, so it is you to manage. Okay, the frontline staff who is there, they have to manage this conflict. Okay, they have to make sure that both the parties are at peace. Okay, then maintain external and internal customers. Now external customers are the customers who come to the hotel or hospitals or whatever it is. They are the external people who come there. Internal are within the departments. There might be customers within the department. One department has worked with another department, so they become customers to each other. So that also has to be properly given. Okay, like in a uh, hospital, again, in a hospital, let's say, okay, there is a pharmacy. Okay, that is another department. And there is a nursing department. Okay, so nursing department should have a proper connect with the pharmacy. Okay, so pharmacy, the nursing department becomes a customer to the pharmacy department, internal customer. So pharmacy department has to properly treat those nurses so that the medicine reaches the patients properly. Okay, the nurses should treat the pharmacists properly so that the medicines are properly given in time and the medicine reaches the patient in time. So that is what internal customers are. So this internal maintaining proper relationship between the external and internal customers is also very important there. So that is managing service employees. So it is, how do you manage those employees who are providing service? That is the first thing, or the first strategy to avoid gap 3. Second one is acknowledging customers role. Okay, first is, as I said, in service, customer role is